Wisconsin judge Hannah Dugan pleads not guilty on charges of concealing illegal immigrant, basically arguing that she is above the law in this case and that the federal agents have no power to arrest her, charge her, and that she basically didn't do anything wrong. She is saying that she is not guilty of two charges. One is obstructing a U.S. agency, and the other one is concealing an individual to prevent an arrest. And if you read through the charges and the criminal complaint against Hannah Dugan, it's very clear. It doesn't take a legal expert to see that is clearly what she was doing. She was aware of the federal agencies outside her courtroom, and she actually got into an argument with one of them. She told them to leave. She had it in her mind that they were out there. She hurried up this proceeding against this illegal alien, or I believe she might have just canceled it altogether, just randomly. And she let him out a back non-public exit so that he could escape, basically, these federal agents. But Wisconsin Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan pleaded not guilty on Thursday to federal charges that she helped an undocumented man evade arrest. The Trump administration has said Hannah Dugan's case is meant to send a message to other judges not to interfere with its immigration crackdown. And this is very important because you have judges, you have elected officials, governors, representatives, senators, all coming out. And kind of in a way, they're telling people to resist this stuff. Something like you've seen with Tony Evers, the governor of Wisconsin. He sent out a memo to all the state employees telling them how to treat federal agents if they were to come to your office or if you were to come in contact with these federal agents. And it was worded in a way where it said basically to make their life harder. Call your lawyer. Do not speak to them. Do not show them any documents. Make them wait outside your office. And kind of coded in a way basically saying, do not comply. Do not do what they ask. Do not give them any information. Because if you do, you might face the same fate as Hannah Dugan here, which is kind of weird because Hannah Dugan took part in helping a illegal alien attempt to escape federal custody, which eventually they caught up to him. They found the undocumented immigrant. But he could have just put on that memo, hey, this is what you do if you come in contact with a federal agent. Yeah, you can call your lawyer, whatever. But most importantly, do not break the law. Hannah Dugan has been a judge in this article. It says for over a decade. She is well aware of what the law is. And I don't think any of us watching would think that this was somehow kosher, that this somehow wasn't breaking the law and this was okay, no matter who you were, no matter if you're a senator, representative, or a judge. Helping an illegal alien escape federal custody is clearly illegal. But she could face up to 6 years in prison if she is convicted on both counts. And I think it would be incredible to see her face some prison time. If you want a legitimate message to be sent to these other people who are clearly against Donald Trump's agenda, which is fine. I mean, you could be against Donald Trump's agenda, but if you go the step further and you're encouraging people to break the law, this is when it becomes a problem because you have just your everyday constituent seeing their representative saying these types of things. So they might think themselves like, hey, if I do this, I am covered because my representative is doing it. Or he's saying that you should do something similar to this. A couple hundred protesters demonstrated outside the courthouse against Dugan's arrest and the Trump administration's immigration policies. A federal grand jury indicted Dugan on Tuesday on charges of concealing a person from arrest and obstruction proceedings. She was arrested last month by the FBI. She was arrested by the FBI last month for trying to help an undocumented immigrant in her courtroom avoid arrest by immigration and custom enforcement officials. And her next hearing is scheduled for July the 9th. The Wisconsin Supreme Court suspended Dugan, saying it was in the public interest for her to be, quote, temporarily relieved of her duties. I think something as blatant as this, she should be permanently relieved of her duties. Especially someone who is as knowledgeable of the law as she should be, because this next line right here, she has served nearly a decade on the court. So she should know that this is illegal. She should know what obstruction is. She should know that evading arrest or helping someone evade arrest or concealing a person from federal authorities is illegal. It's kind of just everyday knowledge that something like that is not okay. The Trump administration has intensified its battle with the judicial branch, particularly regarding efforts to enforce its immigration agenda. Federal judges have ruled against the administration in several cases, and this doesn't even matter. This is literally beside the point. This is a completely separate issue. I mean, you can have the judges rule against these this immigration agenda till the cows come home, but when you are helping an individual evade federal custody, that is a whole separate legal matter entirely. From ordering the return of an erroneously deported man to preventing the deportation of several foreign students. I did want to read exactly, or just kind of like a surface level take on what Hannah Dugan did, just to keep it fresh in your mind, because this is something that we're going to be hearing about for probably a few years to come, because this is going to take a while to go through the courts. But this is what happened. So a team of 6 went to the courthouse for a low-key arrest of Flores Ruiz. So this is the illegal alien that they were going to deport from the United States. And they went to the courthouse, and the justifications that they gave for going to the courthouse to do this arrest there is because when an individual goes to the courthouse, they have to go through a metal detector. So any potential weapons are already taken off the person. So it's a much more safe way of apprehending someone as opposed to maybe out in public where they could have some sort of weapon on them, whatnot, which makes a lot of sense. And there was a lot of people that they notified. They initially notified one person who went and told another person, and that person came to talk to them. And so it was kind of getting around the courthouse that these federal agents were there. And eventually it got back to Hannah Dugan, this judge. And you see right here, Dugan became angry at ICE's presence. And she actually went out and talked to the ICE officers, and she demanded that they leave because they needed a judicial warrant, which they responded, actually, we have a administrative warrant. We are in a public area. We have every right to arrest the individual right here. So they were asked to wait outside the courtroom. They waited. They were very cordial about that. They were asked to talk to another judge, and when they went to his office, he wasn't there. They had to call him. So all of this stuff in the background, Hannah Dugan is back in her courtroom, and she is essentially trying to figure out what to do. She had this illegal alien sit in the jury box, which is highly unusual. And eventually she led him out a corridor or a hallway that was not available to the public out the back, out of the courthouse. So that is kind of the situation that we have. I mean, it's kind of cut and dry. Of course, we have some people arguing that, hey, as a federal agent, you have no authority over how Hannah Dugan conducts her courtroom. Saying basically, Hannah Dugan conducts her courtroom in a certain way, and you can't tell her how to conduct her courtroom. Essentially saying like, hey, if she decides to do something illegal in her courtroom, you have no power. You can't tell her that she can't do this in her courtroom. This was an argument that I saw from several people on the left saying that Hannah Dugan has the right to conduct her courtroom as she sees fit, which I don't agree. If you are going to, let's say, shoot someone in your courtroom, is that conducting your courtroom as you see fit? That's illegal. You can't take another person's life in the courtroom. If you were to, say, obstruct an arrest by leading someone out the back to evade federal officers, is that conducting your courtroom as you see fit? Well, if you see fit to conduct your courtroom in an illegal way, that makes you a criminal. That's not conducting your courtroom and having the power over your courtroom. That's you just basically having a halo or a bubble around you, depending on a location that you are standing and depending on your status as a judge. So it's a completely erroneous argument. So I'm very interested to see how this would play out. And of course, I want to see her face jail time. Because I think that would send a very strong message. It it would send a very strong message to other judges, representatives, senators. Hey, this is a precedent that has been set. If you try to help an illegal alien evade arrest, you are going to jail. And we're not going to tolerate that. But let me know what you think down below in the comments about all this. Like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. But until then, I'll see you on the next one.